Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, January 15th, 2026. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Trade your charts, not mine. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds you can afford to do without. All right. No more sessions today, so do away with the disclosure, risk disclosure. Let's see where we are. We have a long that's gone too far on the micro Russell. We have a get in sync short on the micro, sorry, not on the micro, but on the YM. That's got to go up 4 ticks. Would have gone up 4 ticks. It's gone too far at this point to do anything with. There's target 3. Crude is in this long trade. 9 o'clock start. It's just meandering about. Just missing money management and then dropped down almost to the stop. Coming back up now. We are on the March contract as of today for crude. Volume is swung over, and of course the February contract expires tomorrow. Pound Aussie is flat. And really nice short trade early at 3 a.m. Unleaded. Looks like it got target break money management and target 1. So target 1 traders are one and done. Those trading target 2 are looking for another trade. Picked up 2 ticks out at 8:008, and I suspect the entry was 8:001. So 714 ticks for target 2. Target 1 traders pick up 39 and 746. And we are done. Waiting for target 2 traders waiting for a new trade there. Soybeans starting momentarily. We have a get in sync long and a possible short. So much for the get in sync long. Market just opened and blew through the entry. Actually, that was just a burst just before the market isn't open. It's still got about, I don't think it's 30 seconds. There it hit. Oh, so it comes down. That is a get in sync at this point, and it should be in the trade. Get in sync short. I have a feeling. Good morning, moneymaker. Okay, that hit the entry again. So we are definitely in that. YM gets a short that goes to a full stop. This one, that one was just too early. Crude back to the entry. Micro Russell, no new trades yet. No new trades on unleaded. Let's see, let's get these in place. Soybeans is short. Okay, the YM picks up along because target 1 trails almost to target 2. $29 ticks to target 1 are lost on the short. 60 ticks. That short is going to get us positive on the YM. So I'll throw the unleaded chart up over that. Spotlight 14 tick range bar, 14 point range momentum bar for TradeStation. Micro NQ. Another 50 seconds before we can start that trade plan. Start at 4 minutes after the market open. That is a no trade. It's hit both the entry and the target. Or I'm sorry, the entry and the stop on the same bar. So that trade is off the table. And there is a short trade now set up. That one's hit the stop, but not the entry, so it still remains valid until we get a crossover, which is looks like it's happening on this bar, unless it triggers in on this bar. And it does, but yeah, that cancels the trade. There's a new one in that one. Actually, that's a little fast. Looking for a pullback. There's the pullback. And crude stops out. All right, short did trigger us in. We get target 2. We're still at money at break even. And still in the short on the micro NQ. Soybeans is still short. We take a long on the micro Russell. That gets us a win, a small partial. Now we have a short there. That has not yet triggered in. It needs 1 tick. So it's still valid. It did hit the stop. That's going to be a 5. Long trade on crude. Now that touched the entry on the micro Russell and then the stop. I would have to count that as a loss because I believe that it did touch in time for us to get into it. Yep, we stop out for a small trailer. We did get far enough to start trailing. Micro NQ picks up a win. Okay, the instruments I'm showing examples of today, micro Russell using a 1.5 point or 15 tick Renko bar with 5 tick offset. Using Catapult Trader. Crude, full size contract, using an 8 tick range bar or 8 cent momentum bar, depending on your platform. These are going across from left to right at the top. Right now I have unleaded up on the top right. That's over top of the YM chart. But unleaded is on a 20 tick or 0.002 momentum bar. Also on Spotlight Power Trader. Long trade on the micro NQ. It's money management. Stop comes to break even. So looking for target 2 there. Is our first actionable target. I'll just let the stop run. New long trade that's already hit money management on micro Russell. Unleaded, it picks up a long trade as well. Major key level adjustment there. So entry was 80.1. So our break-even stop is 79.9. and stopping out on the break-even stop for a couple of tick loss. Money management on crude, second trade of the morning. And I will get to the bottom set of charts here in a minute. We'll keep up with the trades here. Short trade on the micro Russell, short trade also on the micro NQ. Both of the micro NQ second break even. So you have a win and two break evens. Micro Russell is a win, a loss, and a break even. Now a second break even trade on micro Russell, trying to work down to its goal target at target 3. We would have needed one more tick. Trailing the 14 EMA by 2 ticks. 77.6. And we take a loss on the micro NQ. How fast was that? Same second. Chances are that was avoidable. So I will call that still a win and 2 break evens. Target 4 win on the micro Russell. Micro NQ is bottom center, by the way. That is also on a catapult chart, catapult trader chart, using a 12-point 48 tick Renko bar with a 3-point or 12 tick offset. Looking for a new trade on the micro NQ. Bottom left is the pound Aussie spot forex using an 8 pip range bar for NinjaTrader. 8 pip momentum bar for TradeStation. It's an 80 tick. And that, I'm afraid, no way to get away from that one. Long trade on the micro Russell. Well, actually, yeah. All the setup and the 2 bars that printed up were all the same second. So next valid trade is the short. And we should have avoided the long. Would have been too fast to execute. Need a tick, and we are at money management. Would have been a tick below target 1, and that becomes a break-even stop out. All right, crude picks up target 1 and target 2. So we get 13 and 20. And our loss on the very first trade would have been 46. We picked up 33, so we're still down 13. Needing one more trade. Need a third trade to get positive in the next 14 minutes. Okay, as I said, pound Aussie in the lower left. Nothing since 8:30. So that's still flat. Micro NQ with a short trade. Goes to money management. Stop comes to break even there. And we set a break even on the micro Russell and transitioning to a long now. Unleaded with money management, we're just trading target 2, so we're looking for target 2, and we're just about there. Need 1 tick. Yeah, we got our 1 tick, so that's another break even on the micro Russell. It's going to show the stop at the close of this bar, but we would have moved it intra-bar. And I'm absolutely not trying to trade this many charts. I'm just trying to follow them. Soybeans stopped and reversed to long. So the entry there was 47.5, so we'd go to 48 for the entry, stop and reverse entry. Yeah, right there. How big was target 1? 8 ticks. Yeah, so it would still have been our minimum of 6. So we pick up target 1 for 6 ticks, 1.5. And we are now at break even at least. There's target 2 for 11 ticks. That's 17 ticks, 4.25 points. And we'll look for target 3. Stop will actually come a tick above our entry, so 48.25 because of the stop and reverse adjustment. Now, so 48 to our chase entry back here at 45.5, 2.5 points, 10 ticks, so four position trades. We were down 10 points, and we pick up target 3. Target 3 is worth 16 ticks, another 4 points, 8.25 points. So we're down 1.75 points with a 1/4 point on the trailer already. Micro NQ with a short trade. That's soybeans on the bottom right. That's the last of the charts that you see now. The YM was a 14-point momentum bar for TradeStation, 14 tick range for NinjaTrader. And we stopped out. That's our second money management trade. We just missed target 2, but that is power quitting for target 2 traders. So unleaded is done. 79.73 from 79.51, 22, 44 ticks to go with our 14.58 for target 2. So a little over $200 for one position, single contract, 4 positions. All right, the Yeah, that was an intra-bar stop out on the micro Russell. The calculator doesn't move the stop until the close of the bar, but we would move it as soon as it hits money management. So that unfortunately was a stop out, break even. We have a short now, and I think we're getting close to our 6 trades. I haven't been counting. So need another 6 ticks. So we need to get to target 1 with the trailer on soybeans to get even on the day. Micro NQ with a successful short trade. Targets 2 and 3 so far. Stopping out on the trailer. And now in a long trade. Actually, no, not in a long trade yet. Missing the entry by a tick. Trade plans on both the micro Russell and the micro NQ are 6 trade maximum. So I'll have to go back and check there. Touching the stop on the micro NQ, but that doesn't end the trade until we get a crossover of the cat lines. And there is a crossover. That cancels the short. We get a long setup that just triggered in. Definitely in that long setup. Money management. 14 tick minimum for money management, and that's key level again. We needed to go up 4 ticks. We had a key level there. Major key level. So that's going to be a 5. Long setup on crude. See if we can get this one. Yep, we've got 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So we've got enough time. Money management is above target 1, so our first actionable target will be target 2. Right there. And target 3. Down 46, and we got 36 10 ticks. 33, we're down 13 ticks, that's right. And there you can see the, and that's the first long trade canceled. The second long trade makes target 2, so that's a win. And there is target 3. Yep. So we will go up to target 4. 2 targets in hand, and now trailing. Trailer at 8.95 3/4. Soybeans stop now at 49 flat. Still no trades on the pound Aussie. And we get a break-even stop out on the micro Russell. That's at least 6 trades on the micro Russell now. So that trade plan is going to be done. A small winning day. A couple of wins, a loss, several break-evens. All right, we get a new long setup. It does trigger in. This one is larger than the last. So we will be going just to targets 1 and 2. Money management at 30. Entry was at 59.17. Yep, we get in time, so that's a valid 9 a.m. mini session trade. Trading 1 hour mini sessions, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. All right, micro NQ stops out. That's also going to be 6 trades there, I'm sure. Winning session there, we've had, I think, 3 wins and at least 1 loss and a few break evens. We're going to let it back down here where it normally lives. Got 7 charts and only room for 6. Have to move around a little bit sometimes. There is where we are on the YM currently. YM went power quitting on the very first trade, or actually on the second trade this morning. That took a win and a loss. 1051.5 for the soybeans trailer, and that will get us positive. So this is power quitting trade for soybeans. Take what the market wants to give and come back another day. So unleaded is done. Micro Russell, micro NQ are done. The YM is done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 charts. Crude is in the long trade. Soybeans is in a long, 51 3/4 for the trailer. This is its final trade. Having reached our goals for the trade plan. Still with a trailing position in play. Nothing on the pound Aussie yet. Crude still in the long for the 9 a.m. session. This could very well become a 10 a.m. trade as well. It's getting sync for the 10 a.m. at this point. All right, 10 a.m. Did that. I'm looking at another chart. 5 seconds, so not a little too fast to get in for 10 a.m. We're definitely in for the 9 a.m. If it pulls back, it is valid trade until it's still valid until we hit money management. $52.5 for the soybeans trailer. Turning into a nice trade. And 53.5. 22 ticks now. On the trailer, that's 5.5 points. And we were only down by 1 3/4. So 3 3/4 points positive. And we do trigger in the crude long for 10 a.m. All right, 53 3/4 for soybeans. Stop. Crude trying to make a move. And still nothing on the pound Aussie. That was nice. All right, crude hits money management. Stop will come to 59.18, I believe. Yeah, 59.18. Looking for target 1. Target 1 is worth 15, so that will get us positive. So far we've got stop sitting there. One tick at 18. That'll get us just 2 ticks, so we'll still be down 11. That would end the 9 a.m. session. Would be 2 ticks up on the 10 a.m. session. 54.5 for the soybeans trailer. And we stop out on the crude chart. 9 a.m. ends up being an 11 tick loser. 10 a.m., if you took that trade, is 2 ticks in hand. And we'll wait for another trade. Good morning. Welcome. We're about done for this morning. Everything is done. And soybeans just stopped out at 54.5. So 54.5 from 48 is 6.5 points. We were down 1 3/4. So 4 3/4 points positive. That's almost 250 bucks. After 2 trades, a loser and a winner. And that brings us to the end of the soybean session. Soybeans in the bottom right here. So far, positive everywhere except crude. Crude was an 11 tick loser in the 9 to 10 a.m. mini session. 10 a.m. mini session looking for, depending on how you work it, if you're in the 9 a.m. session and you don't take that trade that was get in sync for 10 a.m., we're looking for our first trade. Otherwise, we're plus 2 ticks from break even in the first trade. Unleaded has already completed. Pound Aussie hasn't had any trades yet. Possible long trade. Set it. Possible long setup coming on Pound Aussie. YM was done early. Micro Russell and Micro NQ done there. And there's a short on unleaded, which actually is also done. So crude 10 a.m. session and Pound Aussie are the only 2 active charts at this point. No trade on crude. Still nothing on unleaded. Nothing new. Waiting for trades on both the pound Aussie and crude. Still nothing. Nothing yet to do. British pound seems to be in a downturn since the London Open this morning, especially against the Australian dollar. An up close on this bar should set us up a long trade. Nothing doing, nothing new. If we go 10:30 without anything new, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on the session. And we'll come back again and do it again next Tuesday. And it's starting to get a turn back up on crude. Let's see, we need to close above 59.11 to get a long trade. And we will close at 59.08 or less. Actually, we closed that bar down, so it doesn't matter. Now we'll have to get up to 59.11 for a setup to occur, which will be at least 59.13. All right, heading back down. Let's see, what can we get? Did we get close enough that we can get a trade off the 50 or the 20, which are right together? High there is 06, that'll put 08. Yeah, we can get a yellow trade or a blue trade off of this bar. All right, we did get our setup on Pound Aussie, but not triggered. We got a short setup on crude, and now it's pulling up. So I will kind of follow these for a little while. So finally did get some movement. So, right over here. We also can get a short trade with two more down bars, two more down closes. We'll be off the 20 SMA. And crude stops out on that trade and sets up a long trade. Not a stop and reverse because it stopped out before it set up the long. Down, possibly get in sync. Let's see. Pound Aussie with one down to close. Need one more down close for a short trade. All right, crude long is definitely in. We'll lose on that one. Risk was 21, so loss of 42. Long, its targets at 17 and 27 for 44. So if we get target 2, we'll be essentially break even. If you took the first trade, you'll be at +4. Not, we'll be at +2. Certainly. Tell me a little bit about are you working with any of the backpack trader strategies, or are you working with your own strategy? I'm familiar with all the backpack trader strategies, but not a whole lot else. Pound Aussie still with a valid long setup, pulling back up. No short yet. Crude back at the entry, 59.11. We're trying to make a, okay. What market and what's your basic strategy? And do you have, okay. I'm assuming you have a set of rules written out for what you're wanting to trade. And you say you've been forward testing it for a year? What kind of a win percentage does your testing show you? And what's your time frame for your trading? Crude's not going anywhere. And looks like the pound Aussie is going sideways as well. We have a long setup, it just hasn't triggered in yet. We've got one close below the balance line, and second close, that was a close. Actually, that was a close just below, and that did cancel the long setup. Second close below canceled the setup. No, do you have a time period during the day that you're trading? And are you day trading or swing trading? Yeah, we closed half a pip below the balance line, and that cancels the long trade. And it didn't give me a trade because the trade's too small. X factor was 8.9. Oh, I don't have the 20 SMA trade turned on that chart. All right, looks like no trade upcoming on pound Aussie. We're going to need another set of exhaustion dots, which we actually have there. That's going to be in proximity to 20 again. That's the trade's turned off. So not going to get a trade there. Definitely no overbought reading. We have an oversold reading, so we can get a long trade. Crude trying to make money management. Money management at 59.26. Looks like we got to 23 maybe. Crude pulling back. Pound Aussie still going sideways. Oh, okay. So you're trading, or you're a day trader, and you're trading the forex spot market. And that's chart on the lower left. There is pound Aussie pair. That's using the Spotlight Power Trader. And you can see you're in Nepal, so you're essentially going to be on the Asian session, which would typically be about 5 p.m. Eastern, which would be the open of the daily market open for forex pairs. What time of day do you try to trade? And what time zone is that? What's your offset from, say, Greenwich Mean? So you only took 11 trades within what, a month and a half, 2 month period. That's not very many, I would say. Okay, so you've been forward testing since last November, so not a year, but about 6 to 8 weeks. Then we're looking at possibly 10. So do you have written rules for your trade plan? What trades you're trying to take? Parameters for the trades you're trying to take? So that you can go back and look back at the data, at prior data, and actually back test your strategy to see if you've got a statistical advantage. Or are you looking for a particular chart pattern? Or I'm going to guess that since you're I'm going to guess that you're probably using time-based charts, since that's the norm on the more common forex trading platforms. So you're looking to, you say you're day trading, but you've only taken 11 trades in, say, up to 10 weeks. That sounds more like you're actually swing trading. So if day trading is trading in and out of the trade within the same day, swing trading is anything, you know, one day to a week or two. Or even more at times. The chart that I'm showing on the pound Aussie in the lower left there is on a strategy called Counterpunch Trader, or not counter, I'm sorry, Spotlight Power Trader, and that's using an 80 tick or 8 pip range bar. Okay, so you trade most the Asian session in the London Open. Okay, that's kind of what I would have guessed. So typically that's around, you're trading 5-6 p.m. my time, which is Eastern Standard U.S. and the London Open is about 2 a.m. my time. 2 a.m. my time. Yeah, that's one of the hard things, is determining what you can trade or when you can trade consistently. Because that is a key to being a successful trader. Crude makes target one, and looks like it came back and stopped out. So stopped out at 59.18. So we pick up 7 ticks on the trailer and 17 on target. 24. We were down 42, I believe it was. 42 or 44. Yeah, we were down 42. So we end up 16 or 40 actually even. So you end up 16 ticks down on that session. If you took this trade back here, all of these trades are, most of these charts are futures charts. In fact, all of them are futures charts except for the pound Aussie. But yeah, first suggestion is figure out a time you can trade consistently, so that you can test during that time period and test your trade plan. See if you have a valid trade plan. 11 trades in something like 8 to 10 weeks is probably not enough trades in a day trade plan. I would, in 8 to 10 weeks, I would expect that you would see 40 trades or more in that time period if you have an appropriate day trade plan. At least 30 or so. But you're talking about essentially 40 trade days, give or take. And if you're day trading, I would normally want to have at least have one trade a day, or preferably more than that in my trade in the time period I'm trading. So if you have a losing trade to start, you've got more trades that you can get a winner out of. But I would go back, write down the rules of your trade plan, start time, stop time, what your trade parameters are. Go back, basically look back 6 months and test that plan and see what the win rate is. And if you're not getting, I don't know how long you typically have to trade, but if you're not getting to at least the availability of 2 or 3 trades a day, then you're probably, for a day trade plan, you haven't got enough trades in that plan. You need to look at a different market, look at a different way of approaching the trade plan. If you're running time-based charts, what are you running? 5-minute or something less, something more? Some of the questions to ask are there enough trades? One, and are they of appropriate size? Are they going to get you to your goals? Don't force them what you want to get out of it on what the market wants to give on a particular day. And set a goal, a regular trading goal, certain profit level, certain. And typically I'll use a target 2 as the level. The second target on most of these strategies is where my goal is. So if I get a target 2 and a win in a positive session, then that's the end of the day, and I'll take the money and come back tomorrow and do it again. But those are the first things to ask: is do you have enough trades? Is your trade plan presenting you enough trades, and are they appropriate? Yeah, that's the difficult part, is if you can't trade when the market is typically active. Your London Open is a good time to trade. And after market settles down, after the session open, which is typically the Asian session, is typically not a bit. Those are decent times to trade. But you got to look at what your trade parameters are and your trade plan, and see if the plan is giving you enough trades and if they're appropriate size for what you're trying to do. But just 11 trades in, I'm guessing you said November, so I'm guessing we're talking somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks. 11 trades in that period of time is not many for a day trader. I'm typically taking 1 to 3 trades per session, in an hourly session on crude. Yeah, look at your trade. Figure out what your trade plan is, and you want to be able to get regular trading in if you're going to day trade. And that's why I say, figure out when you can trade, how much you have risk capital you have to devote to it. Find the market, a pair, a market, a chart gives you enough trades in that time period that you can trade, and trades of appropriate size. Those are the first questions to answer. U.S. yen and U.S. Let's see, what was it? U.S. yen and Euro U.S. are reasonably good pairs. Pound Aussie would be another good one to look at. The Euro yen is not a bad pair to look at. Look at some different pairs. See if something has more activity when you're looking for. If you're trading the Asian session, typically you look for things like yen pairs, NZD, New Zealand, or Australian, because those are the markets that'll typically be moving the best in the Asian session. So your U.S. yen is a good choice there. But take a look at like the Pound Aussie, and some other Euro Aussie, some other Aussie pairs, and see if you can find something there. But that's something to look at, is find something that's going to give you, as I say, 11 trades in somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks is not nearly enough trades for a day trading plan. But you want to figure out what your trade session is, what hours you're available to trade, and start looking in that particular time frame for a market that has enough movement. I run this room Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 9:30, and on the weeks where the crude oil inventory report is Wednesdays at 10:30, and that's Eastern U.S. Okay, you're looking at support and resistance on a 1-hour chart. You're looking at supply and demand on a 5-minute for confirmation. 5-minute for confirmation. What chart do you actually trade on? Or what chart do you use for your trade that you actually are determining your trades on? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 9:30 Eastern time, U.S. Wednesdays at 10:30 Eastern time, U.S. Unless there's a holiday on Monday or Tuesday that causes them to slide it, because when that occurs, it pushes report back to noon on Thursday, which is not a time I'm looking to trade, and I'm not going to try to push people to watch the market at lunchtime. It's just not a good time to trade. Too many players not there. But as you notice, each of these different markets, I'm only running one chart. I'm not looking at several different charts to figure out what to trade. The trade strategies I'm using print the trades right on the chart. The dots are indicating target levels. The plus or the arrowhead is indicating an entry point. The dots following the line there are my trailing stop. So that's how I trade. Typically on crude, I'll trade target 1 and target 2. I'll go to break even and start trailing this dotted green line, which is our balance line, my 2 ticks. And you'll see the trailing stop marker. Once it hit money management, we come to break even, but this one actually started trailing immediately as that line was already moving up. But I don't have, if I'm trading a particular market, I don't have to look at 3 different charts to determine a trade. But yeah, if you can be in, see, it's 11:20 now, so basically I start almost 2 hours before this. Come in and kind of watch what I'm calling out on these charts. And see, we haven't had any trades. Start time for my pound Aussie trade is 8:30 Eastern time, which would have been almost 3 hours ago now. And there've been I've had no trades on that trade plan today. So that forex can be kind of slow sometimes. You just have to work with it. But I still would expect to see at least one trade a day. Now I got one set up today, didn't trigger in, but I would be expecting to see at least that, if not two or three on a regular basis. Ruby, I think I had seen your name on the Discord server. Is that correct? So you're already involved with Backpack Trader. What are you in the CEO Mastermind program, or are you on one of the strategies? Yeah, no, I had seen that you were on Euro USD. That Euro US probably is not the right. Now that probably is a good pair to trade at the London Open, but that's probably not as good a pair to trade for your Asian session. You're more likely to get better movement out As I say, out of the Aussie pairs, the New Zealand pairs, the yen pairs, things like that. Euro Aussie, pound Aussie, Aussie yen. Aussie yen wouldn't be a bad pair, I wouldn't think, for where you are. That'd be another one to look at. But yeah, if your primary trading period is the Asian session, then those are where I would tend to look. The major players for Euro US are going to be, in London or Frankfurt markets, or the US typically. Now you'll still get some in Asia, and you'll get movement in Asia, but the Asian session won't be ideal for the Euro US. You want to look typically at pairs that have an attachment to that Asian session. NZD US, any US yen, pound yen, Euro yen, pound Aussie, Euro Aussie. Okay, yeah, that's a good plan. Is US yen in Asian and Euro US in London. That's exactly when I would play those. Those would be the trade periods I would use on those two pairs. But take a look at some other pairs. You may find that there's some better pairs than what you're looking at. And don't just pick a couple of pairs and try to make them work. Find something that is working with your plan, working with the strategy you want to work with. All right, it's getting to be almost 11:30 where I am. I've had the room open for 2 hours now, and triggered into a long that then went for another full stop. So that ends the crude session. Still nothing on the pound Aussie, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a morning. I'll be more than happy to go through some of this again on Tuesday. That'll be my next session. Tuesday morning, 9:30 Eastern Time, Eastern US. Regular sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday is a holiday next week, so we'll only have the 3 regular sessions. No crude oil inventory report session next week. But everybody have a good one. All right, everybody. Yeah, I understand working as a bartender is not a schedule that is normal, and knowing, since I don't know the time zone for Nepal, I don't know where that kind of puts you trade period wise. But that's the things to look at, is figure out when you can consistently trade. Look at different, don't feel like you're stuck on those two pairs. Look at some other pairs and see if they don't give you better movement in the time that you can trade in. And go back, take a look at them, go back quickly through how you trade, go through just chicken scratch counting, count wins and losses in your trade session. And to be a successful day trader, you're looking to get somewhere on the order of 70 to 80% winning sessions. Each winning session time sessions. Right? So that may take 50 to 70% win rate, depending on how your trades are structured, or something different. But you need to know going into the trades that plan ends up with a statistical advantage over the long term. And if it doesn't have a statistical advantage over the long term, you need to look at changing the plan. All right. Everybody have a good one. We will see you again on Tuesday. I will put the schedule, go ahead and schedule next week's sessions, so they will be available on the Backpack Trader YouTube channel. And we will see everybody next week. Have a good one.